Hi, mates! I'm glad you're able to join us as we go to Australia today and learn about the many flightless birds that are native to both Australia and New Zealand. But first, we wonder, has anyone seen any winter birds out their window? Alexis, can you share what you've seen?
We've seen a bunch of different chickadees, actually.
Quite a few of the black-capped chickadee. Now, it's been really cold here. So have we really seen much out our window?
Nope.
No. We have not actually seen much out our window. But just today, the sun's out, it's a little bit warmer, and we were able to see several different black-capped chickadees. We're going to go ahead and get going on our flightless birds of Australia. So if you use your animal notebook here, my animal notebook, we're actually going to turn to page 35. So if you see your next one that's available is actually page 37, but see how that says My Bird Report? Save that one. We're not going to write on that one. You are going to actually make your own bird report on page 37. So today we're going to be at page 39. I was kind of hoping it's not too much of a glare. So the page 39, and we're going to change this word birds. We're going to change it to flightless birds of Australia. Oh, hi, Mackenzie. Or do people like to call you Kenzie for a nickname? That's cute. I like that. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. We're going to learn about the flightless birds of Australia. So we're really excited about that. So if you want to open up either whether you have a blank notebook or if you have your My Animal notebook, we're on page number 39. It has birds up in the corner. We're going to turn that into flightless birds of Australia. So I will share your words. There's the word flightless. You're going to put that right in front of the word birds on your paper. So flightless is Flightless. And we'll capitalize flightless because this is actually the title of our page. It's Flightless Birds of Australia. So you have the word birds there. And then you're going to write of, which is OF. And then we're going to write the word Australia. Again, you want a capital A because it is a proper noun. So capital A-U-S-T-R-A-L-I-A. Oh, and Sarah's here too. Glad to have you back, Sarah. I know I'm really excited for today too. It's so funny because I really just wanted to focus on 2 birds. But there were so many cool flightless birds in Australia.
8.
Maybe not quite 8, but we're just going to kind of slightly go over each one just a little bit, and then we're only going to really write facts about our last one because there's just so much cool stuff to share with you. So there you have Australia. So then your title is going to be The Flightless Birds of Australia. Now, as we go through them, we're going to list the different birds, but we won't write facts about them until the end. So that way, because we're going to move kind of fast through some of the birds. So the first flightless bird that we want to share with you is quite an interesting bird, I'll tell you. It's called a cassowary. If you want to, you can either, like I like to do the little bullet points. I'm going to give you 6 different ones as we go, but you don't have to write facts about these. I just would like you to write the name of them. So that way, if you wanted to reference it later, you would know what the names are of the birds we went over. So the cassowary, again, it's a capital C-A-S-S-O-W-A-R-Y. So the cassowary is the first flightless bird that we're going to talk about. But again, you don't have to write facts. We're just going to learn about it. It kind of reminds me of a turkey, a dinosaur, and an ostrich kind of all together, or an emu. Isn't that a cool creature? And now we actually have the sound of the cassowary. Let's see if you can hear that. I'll move this a little closer to make sure you can hear it. And there's the picture of him. Isn't that interesting sound? It doesn't really even sound like a bird, but that's kind of like a little bit of his growl. So I'm just going to share a few facts in this ferocious cassowary's book, but you don't have to write these down. If you wanted to, go ahead, you can write some facts too, but we're going to focus more on the facts for our last book. Well, it is a very strange bird, but in this picture, a lot of times they look a little blackish, but it has a little bit of a blue tint. You can see it's such an interesting bird that only lives like in New Guinea area in the parts of Australia. But there are 3 species of these cassowaries. There's the southern cassowary, which is the largest one. It's actually the 2nd largest bird in the world. There's the dwarf cassowary and then the northern cassowary. You can probably guess the northern one lives in the north Southern lives in the south. But they are forest birds. You can see it's got a big fruit in its mouth. But they're omnivores, so they don't just eat fruits. They also eat seeds and bugs and even reptiles and amphibians. So here you can see, this is called its casque. It's actually a very hard bone that's on the top of its head, and it'll actually use that to dig in the dirt to actually get food to be able to eat. And then it also has the same thing that a turkey would have, is a wattle, but it actually has a double wattle. It's got two really long wattles on each side. And it has this really interesting looking saddle, just like the peacock had the feathered saddle. This one's saddle is the same texture as the wattle. So they do have very small wings. They don't fly. They have waterproof feathers. They have this hard casque on their head, a colorful wattle, and super sharp claws. And a very big, bizarre body. Their babies actually are born brown. Why do you think their babies are born brown?
So they can camouflage in their nest.
That's right. And another cool thing about the cassowaries is their egg. They have this really bright green, beautiful egg that they hatch. And then when their babies are born, they have these little stripes. They're brown with a little stripe so they can have proper camouflage. So that's all we'll go over about the cassowary, but I just wanted to share the amazing bird with you. That's so cool. So our next flightless bird is going to be the kiwi. And Alexis, she's got some wonderful facts about the kiwi that she'd like to share. Go ahead and share your facts, Alexis, and I'll share some pictures as she's sharing her facts about the kiwi. It's spelled Kiwi. Pretty easy. So go ahead, Alexis, while I share some pictures.
Kiwi. This is not a fruit. It is a flightless bird. They are the size of a chicken, but their egg is the size of an ostrich egg. Kiwi are one of the 8 bird species that don't have an egg tooth. This explains why it takes them 5 to 6 days for them to get out of an egg. When they finally get out of their egg, their parents do not feed them, because they can take care of that. They can get their own food all on their own. Kiwi are the only birds that have their nostrils at the end of their beak.
Isn't that cool? So we learned a lot of cool facts about the kiwi. Here's also the sound of the kiwi. I'll show you the picture they have here. So an interesting sound. It's about the size of a chicken. And Alexis, she was asking earlier, why do you think it's called the kiwi? My guess was that if you kind of look at its body, you know, if you cover up that part, it almost looks like it is kind of like a kiwi. Its body's a little bit like the kiwi fruit. And in fact, in New Zealand, not only is this the bird kiwi from New Zealand, but the fruit also grows there. And so actually the people of New Zealand call themselves Kiwis. I thought that was kind of cute. Well, a kiwi is a nocturnal bird. You can see this little picture in the dark that he roams around at night and he uses that really sharp, long beak to dig into the dirt. And he especially loves earthworms, but he'll eat any sort of bug or fruits or seeds or anything like that. And so I think Alexis said that it's the only bird that has nostrils at the end of its beak. And that's used so it can really sniff out in the ground. Another interesting fact is that they'll only lay 1 egg. And I know Alexis mentioned how big they are. They're 10 times the size of a chicken egg. So the kiwi itself is the size of a chicken, but yet its egg is like 10 times the size of a chicken egg. And they actually they'll lay their egg in a burrow and they kind of leave it and let it hatch on its own. Whereas a lot of birds will stay with their mommies for a little bit to be fed. You can see this is a picture of the kiwi eating its worm there. You can see there's a picture of him in the dark, hunting in the dark. And then I thought this was really cute. Over in New Zealand, they actually have kiwi crossing. So they actually have signs out for kiwi crossing that I thought was so cute. But that's another cool flightless bird. 2 more that I wanted to share with you actually have almost been extinct. And in fact, the one they thought was extinct until 1948. So the next one we're going to write is the takahe. It kind of sounds like a word from off of Moana, doesn't it? The takahe, Takahe. And the takahe is another flightless bird about the size of a chicken. Show you the picture right there. And they were actually thought to be extinct until in 1948 that somebody discovered them on this island in New Zealand. They discovered them, and since then they've had conservation centers that will actually take the takahis and they'll breed them there and then return them back to the wild. And luckily on this island there aren't really too many natural predators, so they're able to survive and reproduce there and try to grow back their population. Because the reason why they actually started to become extinct and thought to be extinct was because in New Zealand and even in Australia, this was an interesting fact, there are no wild cats. There are no cats, there are no native cats, and in fact there are no native dogs. Even the dingo,
Cats or dogs.
right, was actually brought over there. So the reason why there's so many of these flightless birds that were starting to become extinct is that people would move to Australia and New Zealand, they'd bring their pet cats and their pet dogs and their pet ferrets with them. Well, then those cats, dogs, and ferrets found, wow, these flightless birds are easy prey. They can't fly away, and they don't really have much to defend themselves. So they were eaten quite a bit. So this way, that now that we understand that, we're able to try to protect them and get them back into the wild again. So I thought that was really cool. The takahi, and then the other one is called the kakapo, which is also called an owl parrot. It's also a flightless bird about the size of a chicken. And this picture to the side, you can't tell as much, but if you look it up online, we actually had some really fun YouTube videos we watched. If you see the front of his face, it really looks like an owl parrot. It's interesting how much you can see both the owl and the parrot in the kakapo. So I will share with you how to spell kakapo. K-A-K-A-P-O. Kakapo, also called the owl parrot. We only have 2 more birds I'm going to share with you. Yep, that's going to be our very last one. She's asking, what about? I'm not going to tell you which one, but yeah, that's going to be our last one that we're actually going to write facts and draw a picture of. There were just so many flightless birds that were so cool, I wanted to share quite a few of them. So our next one is super fun because you think of penguins, you think of Antarctica, right?
Nope.
The little penguin.
Also known as the blue penguin.
It's also known as the blue penguin or the fairy penguin. So little penguin, it is actually the smallest penguin in the world. It's absolutely adorable. So I just wanted to read it. It's a short story. These are the Abdo books that I shared with you before that are really fun. Well, they have another series. It's called Abdo Kids Junior. So they're actually even shorter books, but still beautiful pictures. So it's a really short, quick book. But they're so fun to learn about these adorable little creatures. So here is our little penguin, also called the blue penguin or the fairy penguin. And you can see, look how blue their back feathers are. It is the smallest penguin in the world. It lives in Australia and New Zealand. And when you think about it, the end of the southern part of Australia is not that far from Antarctica. So they're only about 12 inches tall, which is like the size of your ruler, and they weigh just about 3 pounds. And as you can see, it has very blue feathers and a white little belly. A lot of penguins have that white belly that can help actually camouflage them and to protect them from predators. Well, it has 2 flippers and its feet are webbed. This helps this little blue penguin swim, swim, swim. Look how cute he is. So cute. Well, it swims most of the day and then it rests at night. Oh, it actually makes a barking sound. If you've ever seen penguins in real life, you've probably heard. Most penguins do make that. Yep, it's kind of like a seal. Seals kind of have that as well. Well, they do molt each year. Do you know what molting means, Alexis?
They lose feathers.
That's right. So every year they will lose their feathers. We learned about that with the peacocks, how they have almost 200 feathers, those big, beautiful feathers. They'll molt them once a year. This one, you can really see its blue color because it's like underwater. Look how pretty that is. And it looks so sparkly. It kind of looks like a little fairy in this one. So it'll dive for food. It eats fish and squid. It also eats krill. A lot of the animals that live in the southern part of our ocean.
Krill.
Yep, they will eat krill. There's this 13 little inches and about 3 pounds. Super cute. I just wanted to share that with you because they're just, oh my goodness, they're so cute. So now our official bird that we're going to talk about today
is
the emu, which is super easy. E-M-U. So that is the official bird that we're actually going to write facts about. So go ahead and start maybe a little row over here. So make a little section about the emu. this time I want you to write some facts about the emu. The emu is actually the national bird of Australia. So you'll see it on stamps. It's actually on their coat of arms. It's on a lot of different national things there. The emus are known for their size and speed. They're about the size of actually the cassowaries as well. So the emus will actually live almost everywhere in Australia. And that's why they're known as the national bird of Australia. They live on the coast and in mountains. They don't usually live in deserts, rainforests, or cities. They like to be in the outback too, the emus. So let's take a little closer look at the emu. You can kind of see the emu is not the largest bird in the world. The ostrich is, but it's not too far off though, is it? Look at, it's the same height as a man. They can be 6 feet tall. They're native to Australia. And they can weigh up to 120 pounds. So those are some good facts to write down. They can be 6 feet tall and 120 pounds. They have very stiff tail feathers. And sometimes they'll actually rattle those feathers and it'll make a sound and it can scare the predators away. But the soft feathers won't keep it as dry as the stiff feathers do. So if we remember what the peacocks, they have those down feathers underneath these larger feathers. The down feathers are the soft ones that are right by their skin that help keep them warm. And then the stiff feathers are the waterproof feathers that they preen. So the emus do have wings, but they're not built to fly. Their wings are only 7 inches long. That's actually shorter than a crow's wings. And think of how much bigger they are than a crow. So that'd be a good fact to write down too, is they have short wings. You can even write that their wings are only 7 inches. And in fact, you can barely even see their wings. Look, when you look at them, you can't even really see wings, can you? Because they're only 7 inches. So think about that. They're 6 feet tall. They have little 7-inch wings. But you know what? They are actually really good swimmers. That's another good fact. Emus are strong swimmers. Make sure you're writing down facts. So here's an interesting fact. Emus can only run forward. They don't know how to back up. So when they're running, if they want to go the other direction, they have to do a U-turn and loop around. They don't know how to go backwards. And they have to have great speed so that they can escape predators, like these dingoes. They can kick the predators with their feet as well. They actually need to drink a lot of water. They'll drink 2 to 5 gallons of water a day. That's a lot. See, I thought I drink a lot of water. Well, emus, what do they eat? Oh, they'll eat just about whatever food is available. They'll eat seeds when it's dry, but they can also they like to eat fresh grass. But they are omnivores. They'll also eat small animals like insects, lizards. And here's a gross fact. Emus will even eat the poop of other animals. So they're not that picky when it comes to food. So in Western Australia, the emu flocks tend to migrate with the seasons. They'll move north in the summer and south in the winter. So they are a migrating bird, although they don't all migrate. They actually like to live alone, but when they're actually in search of water or when they're migrating, they'll go in groups. Well, each year, the adult male and females make a nest. So they actually make the nest together, but there's some interesting facts about this. The female will lay, and you can kind of see they're like a greenish granite color. So the female will lay the eggs. She lays about 5 to 15 eggs in the nest.
Then she leaves.
Yep. And who takes care of the babies?
The dad.
That's right. So the mom is like, okay, bye babies, have fun. And the dad is actually the one that sits on the eggs.
Forever.
So think about that. A 90 to 120 pound bird sitting on eggs. These eggs must have a really hard shell.
Yes, they must.
Yep, and their nests are usually they usually make like a round shaped nest that are actually 2 to 4 feet across. So think about that.
Wow.
You could actually lay down inside of it. Here's a great close up picture. And look at, there's somebody holding an emu egg. See how they are? They're like a blackish granite greenish color. The emu's eggs, thick shell, help keep the little chicks safe inside. And look, you can see when they're born, they have the stripes that resemble the grass. So it's great camouflage. So here's their little baby emus. Look how cute they are. So when they're first hatched, the emu chicks are tan with brown stripes, and then their feathers change color. So that's another great fact to write down, is that the emu babies have striped feathers. The emu fathers show their chicks how to find food and stay safe. So again, the mama's not around, is she? It's the daddy teaching and training the babies. So over the years, they have faced a lot of dangers. A lot of times the farmers would kill them because they would destroy their crops, and the droughts would make it harder for them to find food. But the emus survived. There's actually about 600,000 to 700,000 wild emus in Australia. And there are many people actually have farms with emus, even in America. So emus are they're in all over the world right now, but they're originally from Australia. Lots of cool stuff about the emu, this large flightless bird. Here we go. Here's one. This is another Abdo Kids book that we love, the Abdo Kids. So this one is by Grace Hansen. She photographed these pictures as well as wrote the words and different facts. So this one's a shorter one. So just kind of pinpoint, okay, what facts did you miss? Because we're going to put together our facts into sentences in a little bit. So where do emus live? Where do they live?
Australia.
Don't put your hand in your mouth. Australia. They're the second largest bird in the world. They can grow to be, this one says 6.2 feet. So even a little taller than 6 feet. That's very tall. Now, do they have wings? Let's see if you remember. Do they have wings? Yes, you remember? They have little 7-inch wings. Although they cannot fly, they have little 7-inch wings. And you can see, if this picture, you can kind of see that little wing? That's its little wing. So it's interesting to think, why do you think they have wings if they can't fly? What do you think, Alexis? Why would they have wings? Honestly, I can't think of a good reason. To me, I think
swim.
And even in the book, it says their tiny wings are useless to their large bodies. So the only thing I could think of is that potentially maybe balance, because if you did have 2 little wings, it could be balance maybe. I don't know, but for the most part, there doesn't seem like there's really a purpose. Well, the emu's feathers hang loosely from its body. The feathers look more like hair because of the way they grow. It is true, like if you look closely at their feathers, it kind of just looks like long, shaggy hair, like a little shaggy dog. And even on this one, look at the top of the head. It looks like a little curly hair. Doesn't that look like cute little curly hair? But those are feathers. It's all feathers. Whoa, this is a pretty cool picture. This kind of shows them in the process of running. Look how stretched out they are. So emus make up for their inability to fly by being really fast. They can run up to 30 miles an hour. That's another great fact, that emus can run up to 30 miles an hour. But it does look good, funny, doesn't it? And look at the neck. For some reason, the neck looks like it's pooched out or something. But I think it's because he's trying to run so fast. But that is a funny picture. Oh, here's their fighting. So this kind of shows the power of their legs. So not only used for running, those powerful legs help them jump 7 feet high. So think about that. They're 6 feet high. They can jump 7 feet high. That's a lot.
I could jump that.
Yep. Oh, here, the emus can run up to 30 miles an hour. I know I was going a little bit fast. So if anybody missed that one, they can run up to 30 miles an hour. They can jump up 7 feet up in the air. So here they are using their powerful legs to fight. They're fighting over territory. A lot of birds and a lot of creatures are territorial. One bird will claim an area, and if another bird tries to live there, they will fight. So emus do migrate. We learned about that in our other book, didn't we? They migrate to find food and water. They do this as a group called a flock. And many birds, their group is called a flock. We did learn last week, they're peacocks. Their group is called a party. I kind of like that.
Party.
Yeah, the peacock party. But most birds, it would be called a flock. And the emus are in part of that too. So their flocks can be found in forests, woodlands, and desert shrublands. But remember, they are a solitary bird, but they just know that there's safety in numbers. But even in here, look at how their feathers really look like hair blowing in the wind. They really do. Their feathers look a lot like hair. So an emu's diet will change with the seasons because they'll eat whatever's available. In the spring, they eat lots of grasshoppers and fruit. But during the rainy season, they'll feast on grass shoots and caterpillars. So they are an omnivore, that they will, and that's called an opportunistic eater, where they just basically eat whatever's available. Oh, look at, you can see, he's getting ready to eat that berry right there. So their beaks are wide and pointed. This shape helps the emus graze on plants. So remember how we learned that you can tell a lot about the bird by either their beak or their feet. And you can see their beak, it's a wide beak, so you can fit some more food in there as well.
Almost looks like that's a raspberry.
It
with
does.
Thorns.
I know, I can't quite tell if it's a berry or maybe a little flower growing up, but it's hungry. Oh, and here's the babies. I always love the babies.
The emu parade.
Yeah, it is like an emu baby parade. So the female emu will lay the eggs, 5 to 15 eggs at a time. She might lay eggs 3 times a year even. Some birds will only lay eggs once a year, so she may lay them 3 times a year. And each time she'll lay 5 to 15. The eggs hatch after about 8 weeks, and the baby emus can walk pretty soon after they hatch. But does mama stay on those eggs? Will she sit and roost on those eggs?
Nope.
No. So the emu mama lays her eggs, and then she says, "Bye, Dada. I'm leaving it up to you." And who knows what she goes off to do? Who knows? She might just
Probably
go off.
have a date out with her friends.
Yeah, maybe she's the emu. All the emus go for like a little girls' night out, right? And then the daddy. Yep. Then the daddy will sit there and he works hard, and then even
he gets bored.
and you know, even after the babies are born. Oh, that's another cool fact that actually was in our other book that we read earlier. That the daddies, they almost go into a little bit of a hibernation. So as they sit on the nest. Yep, they sit on the nest and they almost go into hibernation where they don't move.
Eat or drink.
Yeah, because they will not leave the nest. They will stay on that nest, and so they won't eat, they won't drink, so they don't move either. So wild emus will live about 10 to 20 years. And we did learn that they were good swimmers. So that's another good fact to write down, is they're good swimmers. Why do you think they would need to swim?
Probably to escape from prey.
That would be my guess too.
Emu moms lay, then leave.
Oh, that's a good one. Emus lay. So Alexis, can you share all your facts with everyone?
Emus can only run straight. Emus eat pretty much everything. Emus are good swimmers. Emu babies have striped feathers. Emus have 6-inch wings.
7-inch, but that was close.
But emus do not fly. Emus can run up to 30 miles per hour. Emu moms lay to 5 to 15 eggs. Emu moms lay, then leave.
That's right. So she's got some great facts here. I'd like to know, what are some facts that you all learned about the emu? Maybe give me 3 facts that you learned that kind of have something to do with each other. And then we're going to work on putting those facts into a sentence. Now, some of Alexis's actually were sentences that she wrote, and that's okay if you end up writing facts as sentences. So let's put some together. Which ones do you think could go together? Why don't we put movement together?
Probably these 2.
Not only can emus run 30 miles an hour, comma, but they can also jump up to 7 feet, period. Right, so you could put those facts together. So as you have your facts, you want to categorize them. So you could have movement facts. The movement facts would be that they can run fast, they run up to 30 miles an hour, they jump up to 7 feet, they do not fly, but they are good swimmers. So all those facts go with movement. You can put those together into different sentences and to be one paragraph. Now, Alexis noticed the last 2. Go ahead and read the 2 that you think would go together.
Emu moms lay to 5 to 15 eggs. Emu moms lay, then leave.
That's right. So you could do a whole paragraph about how the emus, the mom and dad, and their roles in the eggs. So you could say, female emus lay 5 to 15 eggs, comma, but then leave the nest up to the male to care for, period. And then you could say how the male will sit on the eggs and care for the babies when they hatch. You could even talk about the color of their eggs. You could mention how their eggs are a dark green color. Some people call it granite green. That they're a dark green color and that they're rather large. Let's see, Mackenzie has, emus are strong swimmers, emus migrate, emus do not fly. Very good. So those are 3 good facts. You could put those together. And in fact, when you have your introductory paragraph, you might want to mention that they don't fly, because that's a pretty big deal when it comes to the bird world, that a bird doesn't fly. So you could say emus are the 2nd largest bird in the world that does not fly, period. They will migrate to find food, period. And then after that, maybe you could add in what do they like to eat. Emus are omnivores, period. They like to eat grass, grasshoppers, fruit, berries, seeds, and you could make a list of what all they like to eat. So as you're putting together your facts, you want to put them into different categories. Movement, maybe food, the egg, how the mom and dad interact with the eggs and what their roles are. So that's one way of putting together your facts into sentences. So I'll let you do that at home, and Alexis, you'll do that a little bit later after our video. I want you to take the facts that you've gathered. Oh, she ran out of room on her paper. I know, Alexis kind of ran out of room too. So I'm thinking that we might have to put, maybe we'll just put one sentence down there. Or it could just be a verbal thing. Maybe you can kind of practice with your parents and share, okay, these are the facts. You know, this is how I'd like to put them in a sentence. Because that's one of our big things we want to do as we go through the birds is really learn how to take those facts and put them into sentences. So now let's go ahead and draw our adorable little emu. So I'll flip us around. Oh, let's see. And Sarah's got some good cassowaries facts here. She says, cassowaries have sharp claws. The babies are brown when born. The kiwi bird has a nostril at the end of his beak and it lays one egg. And the takahi has no predators. Very good. You could put all your flightless birds together. You could say, there are many flightless birds in Australia. That could be like your introductory sentence. And then you could list some of the different birds. And a lot of them, like the cassowary is one of the larger flightless birds, but yeah, both the kiwi and the takahi are both the size of a chicken. And the kakapo, all three of those are about the size of a chicken. So it's good to take those facts and try to put them, it's almost like you're sorting them. You take your facts and you make your own little buckets and you sort them. Say, okay, these are all the facts about the small flightless birds. These are the facts about the large flightless birds. And then maybe you'll find some things that are very much alike with these different birds, right? Isn't that cool? So very good gathering those facts. So now we're going to go ahead and draw our emu. You ready?
Emu. Uh-huh.
Oh, you're
yes.
very welcome, Sarah.
Emu.
Yes, we'll flip up.
Emu.
So look at, see, Alexis's page is pretty full. She's got her flightless birds over here. And then we've got all these facts about emus over here. So now we're going to go to our white page, or on my instance, I just have a blank white page. And we're going to draw and label
I think
our
I'm going to
emu.
draw just the head like that.
I know the head's kind of cute, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to draw the whole emu, but it is cute. So she's looking at, this is one of the emu books that we did earlier today. And this one actually is just drawing, but it had a lot of good facts in it that Alexis and I read earlier. So we'd love to read all our books with you, but we would be here for 4 hours, I think, or more if we read.
Probably.
Yeah, because we kind of read books all throughout the week. So let's go ahead. We'll label our emu, which is luckily that's an easy label. It's E-M-U, emu. So it's Australia's largest bird and the world's second largest bird. So here's our sweet little emu. I'm going to start by its beak. And if you remember, I'm going to have actually the emu's kind of going to be looking at me.
An emu looks like a swan so far.
Oh yeah, that kind of looks a little bit like the cassowary, doesn't it? Without the casque on his head. So the emu has very much like a triangle beak. It's very much kind of like a wide triangle because it's meant to scoop up kind of like a shovel to eat. And he's got his 2 eyes on either side of his head. And then remember, he's got all those feathers that are very much like hairs. So we're going to try to draw. So his feathers are going to be a little bit more just like lines everywhere. And really, in a sense, their head is fairly small for the size of their body. We're going to draw its little nostrils. And we did notice that the emus tend to have their nostrils almost like in the middle of their beak, whereas some will have them right at the base of the beak, but the emus tend to be right in the middle. And they do have a fairly long neck. So I'm just going to draw like little lines, kind of like little jagged lines like this, to make it look like little hairs, kind of. There we go. And then their body, remember, they have a very large body. So we're going to kind of draw their body behind them here, like this. And again, remember how they had all that long feathers that really looked like hair. So we're going to just so you're going to kind of keep just drawing. And this is a great way too of drawing any sort of a furry creature. You just keep drawing lines. Like, you don't actually draw an outline. You just keep drawing lines and lines and lines. And it kind of gives that appearance of shagginess. Now, the emus, the females are all brown. The males do have this little section of their neck. And I'll kind of do it in a different, like this. This little section here is actually like a bluish color on the males. In fact, I'm going to make the top of their head just a little bit bigger. There we go. And then their long, strong legs. So we're going to kind of give them a little bit of a thigh there and kind of a little bit of a calf here. And do you remember, Alexis, did we learn how many toes the emus have? Is it 3? Yeah, I was thinking that we learned they have 3 toes. So it's kind of like a smaller toe on one side and then the larger toe in the middle. The larger toe kind of helps them balance as they run. And when they run, they kind of run on their tippy toes. And Alexis kind of practiced that. She tried running with flat feet, and then she tried running on tippy toes. And she noticed when she ran on tippy toes, it was easier to go fast. So here's our little emu. We'll draw his little 7-inch wings. So what we're going to do is we're just going to label some different parts of him. So we're going to label that it only has 7-inch wings here. So we're going to put 7-inch wings. We're going to label that it has strong legs. Strong legs. It also has sharp claws too. Why do you think it has sharp claws?
So it can kick its prey.
Right, so there's a couple reasons. That's a defense it has, because as you can see, it has no sort of claws up here. So yeah, it has sharp claws for defense and also for digging in the dirt to find food. And then we'll label their beak or bill. You can call it beak or bill. And I'm going to put that has a wide beak because that's an interesting feature. Wide beak. And there it is. And then I'm also going to draw their egg down here. It's large. And then I'm going to just label that it has a dark green egg. Dark green egg. And then one thing I wanted to show you in this book that we read today that was kind of cute, where it does kind of show just the mama leaving the nest. So she just lays the eggs and then leaves the nest. So here's this picture. So there she lays all her eggs there. There's the daddy getting them all settled in. And then look, there's the mama. She's just walking away. She says bye-bye.
I'm gonna go have a date out with my friends.
Isn't that cute?
Go have a date out with my friends.
And then here's these are cute drawings too of the babies. So really, if you wanted to draw a little baby, you could draw the little baby with the stripes. That would be a pretty easy drawing too. So do you think we should do that, Alexis? Should we do some babies? I think we should do a baby on there too. So we actually have room on here to draw a baby too. So there's its dark green egg there. And then why don't we just draw the little baby? We could even just draw the baby up in the corner, or should we draw him down here? I kind of wrote all down here. But here, we'll draw a little baby up here. So the baby has a very simple little shape. It's got the small little head, just like the parents do. And then it's got that wide, large body. So you can see the large body starting even when they're young. And then the biggest thing is that they have those stripes. And then they do have the same triangle wide beak. And you can start seeing kind of their long legs as well, even when they're babies. And they have 3 toes. And again, their little wings are so small, you really can't see them when they're babies. So I'm just going to label that the baby, the striped baby, because they will be in the grasslands. So the stripes really help the babies be able to camouflage there. Very cool. Let's see. And Alexis, she's got her baby over here. There's her cute little emu.
Supposed to have its head tucked in.
Oh, no, it's cute. I like that. Well, thank you so much for joining us, learning about all the wonderful flightless birds of Australia. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week, because next week we're going to learn about some more flightless birds down in Antarctica. What do you think that might be?
Probably cold.
What flightless bird is down in Antarctica?
Penguin.
Yeah, so we're going to have
That also doesn't have an egg tooth.
That's right. Yeah, we learned about that. They don't have the egg tooth either. So we're going to learn next week about all the wonderful penguins of Antarctica. So we'll see you next week. Bye. They're pretty cool. But now let's get going. Sorry, I have a hair stuck in my mouth. But now let's go ahead and, sorry about that, everyone. There we go. I got it. Are those squishmallows? I don't think I know about squish. Oh, the pillows. I don't know what these actually, we just got them at the Kroger store, like the local, our grocery store Kroger. They had those last Valentine's Day, actually.
They are.
They says hugs and kisses, or hugs and squishes on one, and then that says XOXO. But sometimes I have her sit on them because that way she's propped up a bit.